When you think of a hamster, you probably picture a harmless, chubby little furball running endlessly on a plastic wheel. You think of pet stores, cedar shavings, and cute YouTube compilations of them stuffing baby carrots into their cheeks. Hollywood and the pet industry have spent decades gaslighting us into believing that the hamster is a gentle domestic toy. We have completely sterilized their image. But out in the brutal reality of the wild, specifically the arid deserts of Syria and the unforgiving steppes of Europe, the hamster is not a toy. The wild hamster is a hyper-aggressive, solitary, cannibalistic doomsday prepper, built structurally out of glass. Evolution did not design them to be cuddled. It designed them to be nature's ultimate disposable plaything. They exist in a state of perpetual panic, navigating a world where absolutely everything wants to kill them, including their own family members and their own biological design. Welcome to the true hamster experience. Grab a seat and prepare to watch your childhood memories disintegrate. To understand the absolute waking nightmare that is a hamster's existence, we have to start with their birth. You might assume that a fluffy creature would have a warm, loving maternal bond. You would be dead wrong. Hamsters are born completely blind, entirely hairless, deaf, and looking like tiny, wriggling pink jelly beans. The mother hamster is a creature driven entirely by blind instinct and extreme paranoia. If a predator walks near her burrow, if the temperature drops too fast, or if a loud shadow simply startles her, a horrifying biological switch flips inside her tiny brain. Her maternal instinct completely breaks down and is instantly replaced by a cold survival spreadsheet. She looks at her newborn babies, and her brain no longer registers them as her children. It registers them as highly nutritious, easily accessible protein bars. To conserve calories and hide the scent of her nest, she will methodically and calmly eat her own babies alive. You are born into this world, and the very first monster that might eat you is the one who gave birth to you. But let us assume you survive infancy without becoming your mother's breakfast. Welcome to adulthood. You are now entirely alone. Hamsters are viciously, obsessively solitary creatures. If two adult hamsters cross paths in the wild, it is not a cute Disney moment. It is a gladiator death match. They hate each other with a burning, psychotic passion. When they fight, they aim their razor-sharp incisors directly at each other's throats and genitals, intending to cause maximum lethal damage. The only time a male and female will tolerate each other is for a brief 12-hour window when the female goes into heat. The mating process is a frantic, violent skirmish, and the literal second it is over, the male has to sprint for his life. If he lingers in her territory for even a single minute too long, she will aggressively turn around and rip him to shreds. There is no love in the hamster world, only violence. And why are they so angry? Probably because their anatomy is a catastrophic joke. The physical body of a hamster is an absolute masterclass in defective engineering. Let us start with the heart. A human being has a resting heart rate of about 60 to 100 beats per minute. A wild hamster operates between 400 and 500 beats per minute. They live their entire lives having a permanent, non-stop panic attack. Their cardiovascular system is running at the absolute red line constantly. Because they are wired so tightly, they can literally be scared to death. If a sudden massive stressor occurs, like a dog barking above their burrow or a loud crack of thunder, their heart rate spikes so violently that the organ simply gives up. The massive influx of adrenaline toxifies their heart muscle, causing immediate cardiac arrest. They can literally drop dead from a loud noise, but their heart is not their only structural flaw. Let us talk about their eyes. A hamster's eyes are large, black, and bulge out of their skull to give them a wide field of view to spot hawks and foxes. But evolution forgot to secure them properly. Their eye sockets are incredibly shallow. If a hamster is squeezed too hard by a predator, or, tragically, by a clumsy human child, the pressure inside their skull spikes, and their eyeballs will literally pop out of their head. This medical horror is known as proptosis. Once the eye pops out, the optical nerve stretches to its absolute limit, and if not immediately surgically replaced, the eye dies, rots, and leaves the hamster completely blind. Furthermore, Because their eyes are positioned entirely on the sides of their head, they have absolutely zero depth perception. They cannot tell the difference between a 2-inch step and a 50-foot cliff. In a panic, they will confidently sprint straight off a sheer drop, plummeting to their deaths because their brain physically cannot process vertical space. They are suicidal by design. Now, we have to talk about their most famous feature, the cheek pouches. To a casual observer, the way a hamster rapidly stuffs its face full of seeds until it looks like a balloon seems absolutely adorable. But from a biological standpoint, these pouches are a terrifying liability. These are not just little pockets in their mouth. They are massive, highly elastic, dry sacs of skin that extend all the way down their neck and stop at their hips. They can stretch to completely double the width of the animal. Wild hamsters use these massive internal cargo holds to hoard staggering amounts of food. For instance, the giant European hamster, which is aggressively territorial, can hoard up to 60 pounds of grain and root vegetables in its underground bunker. But stuffing your internal body cavity with sharp sticks and dry seeds comes with severe risks. If a hamster accidentally stuffs a sharp piece of grain or a thorny seed into its pouch, it can pierce the delicate inner lining. Because the pouches lack salivary glands to keep things clean and lubricated, that small cut instantly becomes a massive, festering, infected abscess. The hamster cannot remove the impacted, rotting food. Its face swells up with pus. The infection spreads to its brain, and it dies a slow, agonizing death entirely caused by its own groceries. Worse yet, their hoarding obsession completely overrides their logic. A wild hamster will frequently stuff its pouches so absolutely full of food that its physical body becomes too wide to fit back through the entrance of its own burrow. Imagine running for your life from a hungry red fox, reaching the absolute safety of your underground bunker, and getting wedged in the front door like a cork in a wine bottle because you refuse to drop a piece of dried corn. You are stuck there, helpless, frantically kicking your little back legs, while the fox casually walks up and bites your entire lower half off. Their greed is a literal death sentence. When they are not accidentally killing themselves, they live in solitary confinement in the dark. A wild hamster spends the vast majority of its miserable life deep underground. They dig complex burrows up to 8 feet deep into the unforgiving earth, which is a colossal expenditure of calories. They are terrified of the surface. They only emerge at dawn and dusk, scuttling through the grass, jumping at every shadow, frantically vacuuming up seeds before an owl swoops down to end their anxiety-riddled existence. And if they somehow survive the foxes, the owls, the heart attacks, and their cannibalistic mothers, they have to face the winter. When the temperature drops, hamsters enter a state of torpor, a severe form of hibernation. Their body temperature plummets to just degrees above freezing. Their heart rate drops from 400 beats per minute to a sluggish 4 beats per minute. They balance on the absolute razor-thin edge of clinical death for months. Every few days, they forcefully drag themselves out of this coma, shivering violently, just to stumble in the pitch black to their food vault. They eat a few seeds to keep the internal furnace from shutting off, and fall back into the icy coma. If they did not hoard enough food, they freeze solid in their sleep, becoming a forgotten ice cube of fur. Even if they execute this survival game perfectly, their biological clock is a cruel joke. In the wild, a hamster's body completely gives out after just 2 years. Their hyper-accelerated metabolism simply burns out their organs. They age at hyperspeed. Their fur falls out, their teeth dull, and they die of extreme old age before they ever had a chance to relax. So, let us review the reality of the wild hamster. You are born as a blind, pink jelly bean into the home of a highly stressed cannibal. If your mother does not eat you, you are banished into a barren wasteland to live in complete, paranoid isolation. You are a biological glass cannon with a heart that can literally explode if you hear a loud noise, eyes that fall out if you are grabbed too hard, and zero depth perception to stop you from walking off cliffs. You hoard sharp, dangerous food in internal hip sacs that constantly threaten to rot your brain, and you hate your own species so much you try to murder them on sight. Your entire existence is a 2-year speedrun of perpetual terror, violence, and frantic digging.
Evolution did not create a cute pet. It created a furry little anxiety grenade, packed with structural flaws, doomed to suffer in the dark. So the next time you see a hamster running on a plastic wheel, do not feel bad that it is in a cage. That cage is a 5-star luxury resort, protecting it from the absolute horrors of its own biological reality. Be thankful you were born human. See ya.